Good evening. A very warm welcome to this edition of Business at 9 here on ET Now. I'm Vikram Oza with the big buzzing business news that you've been tracking through the day. Right on top is the development, as it were, of quick commerce in the country. We've been speaking about a revolution. Is it just a revolution or is it an evolution? The quick commerce industry now making bold inroads into healthcare. Blinket has launched this 10-minute ambulance service. And Big Basket, BB Now, as we know it, is gearing up to deliver prescription drugs straight to your doorstep. So as these companies are racing to redefine convenience in critical sectors, it does, of course, raise pertinent questions about safety, about regulations, about ethics in the e-delivery of medicines. So are these developments a step towards a healthcare revolution? Are we speeding into uncharted and risky territory at that? We're going to deep dive into the potential pitfalls and the opportunities and the road ahead for quick commerce in healthcare. But first, let's just understand these developments of what these platforms are bringing to the table. And for that, my colleagues Anjali Palod and Asta Chopra joining us with the details. First to you, Anjali. Big Basket getting into quick delivery of medicines that move closely on the heels of rivals Flipkart and Swiggy. They're rolling out similar services. Tell us what you're picking up from your sources about this.
Commerce expansion spree has now led to various quick commerce platforms experimenting with the quick delivery of prescribed medicines. So as of now, over-the-counter medicines were being sold on various quick commerce platforms, but now Big Basket now, which is the quick commerce arm of Tata Group's company Big Basket, will soon be piloting a service wherein prescribed medicines will be delivered to customers within 10 minutes. Now this pilot will start with one dark store in Bangalore in next week, and by the end of January they will start the service in 5 to 10 stores, dark stores in Bangalore, and they plan on doing a nationwide rollout by March of this year. Now what we've learned is that drug licenses are required for every individual dark store that will be doing the quick deliveries for prescribed medicines, and specifically for Big Basket, they've tied up with Tata 1mg, which is the healthcare platform owned by Tata Digital. So the assortment planning and procurement will happen through Tata 1mg, and the deliveries will be done through the dark stores of Big Baskets. Now customers will need to upload a prescription on the app in order to get these quick deliveries, and Big Basket now also plans on launching online consultation for those who do not have a prescription at a later stage of this pilot. Now the other competitors like Flipkart Minutes, which also does medicine delivery for both over the counter as well as prescribed medicines, is doing it in select pin codes in Bangalore, as well as Swiggy Instamart, which is also experimenting with the quick deliveries of prescribed medicines also in some areas in Bangalore.
All right, so now we are seeing that kind of rollout as far as this part of the quick commerce industry is concerned, and it's a big move for the healthcare sector. There's no doubt about it. You tell us about Blinket as well, Asta. Now that they've launched their ambulance service in Gurugram, the company planning to expand the service to other key cities in the next 2 years. What have you learned about this?
Well, there is a big news coming in from Blinket, where Blinket have started its ambulances services from today, and they claim that the ambulances will be available in just 10 minutes. That's right, they have already rolled 5 ambulances in Gurugram, and they will be focusing on expanding their ambulances services pan-India. Now, Blinket will offer this through the Blinket app only under section of basic life support sector, which is the BLS. You can simply click on the BLS option and you can select the ambulances, and it will reach to you in just 10 minutes. Now this Blinket ambulances have very essential life-saving equipment, which will include the oxygen cylinders, the suction pad, the stretcher, the monitors. It will also have essential paramedics, essential medications and injections as well, which will be very useful for the patients as well. Now, Albinder Dinsta, who is the CEO of the Blinket, also posted that this step is not for the profit, but this will be operational at a very affordable cost for the patients, and it will be and it will be a very long-term saving, life-saving protocol. This will be very useful for the patients out.
Right, Asta and Anjali, thanks very much for bringing us up to speed with what we are seeing as developments in the quick commerce universe. Let's get a perspective on this. Karan Torani is joining us. He's Senior Vice President at Elara Securities. Karan, always good to have you on the show. Tell us now, with Blinkit's 10-minute ambulance service and now BB Now as we know it, they're venturing into delivering prescription drugs. How do you assess the future of quick commerce in healthcare? Because the important bit is it could be game-changing. It could be something that where they're spreading themselves too thin, and this could be at an early stage of evolution. How do you see it?
Hi, Vikram. It's always a pleasure to be here. So I think if you look at the quick commerce vertical, the business segment rather, it does have a very big demand for verticals which are impulse nature in terms of consumer buying. So medicine that way is more of a planned purchase category. Nonetheless, this is one more category which is very important because it is a very high frequency driver. Consumers would require medicines maybe on a weekly basis or a fortnightly basis. So I think the entire proposition about quick commerce is to kind of appeal to verticals which are very impulse in terms of purchase behavior and also drive frequency therein, right? So they've been trying multiple things. I think this is also something, which is probably experimental for now. We will have to see the impact in terms of, how things pan out from here on. But definitely, this is good news. What started off as a pure FMCG consumer staples kind of a segment until about 2 to 3 years ago today caters to multiple categories. We have seen how quick commerce has disrupted the BPC category. Even, companies like Nykaa are feeling the pinch of quick commerce. They are trying to reduce the lead times. They are trying to reduce, invest a lot in terms of supply chains. Quick commerce has also disrupted the FMCD category, which is the fast-moving consumer durable category, which is mobile accessories and everything put together. So very clearly, I think, quick commerce is going to spread its wings across various verticals to drive higher AOV, for their platforms, which in turn will also drive higher frequency for certain product categories which are impulse in nature.
Impulsive in nature is fine. These quick deliveries, they sound great. In theory, they do. But when it comes to prescription drugs, critical healthcare services, there would be major regulatory and safety hurdles, don't you think, that these companies will need to address?
I think, there would be hurdles, but it's not that they are doing something new. I think in terms of regulations, where they stand today, they are largely similar to what e-commerce companies are doing. In fact, they are giving a very big threat to the e-commerce market as well. So quick commerce is today about, 4% of the entire India e-commerce market. And as I told you, there are certain verticals like, the beauty personal care vertical, verticals like the FMCG staples, wherein, they have taken share from the e-commerce market. So medicines is also one such segment. Obviously, the regulations will be taken care eventually. Quick commerce companies that way have been quite dynamic in terms of adopting to new verticals. And as far as safety is concerned, I think there's no issue as such because, the way they deliver the product, the technology, the experience is quite seamless. You rarely see, product defects. You rarely see kind of returns being there in the quick commerce proposition. So I think medicines is also one, a product category of vertical wherein the customers would want to have it on a frequent basis and on an impulse basis. And nonetheless, the online medicine market that way is very, very small. It's only about $2.5–3 billion, which is just about 1.5–2% of India's e-commerce market. But clearly, quick commerce wanting to try out each market and then experiment more in terms of innovation, in terms of investment, and try to get the customer experience and then maybe enhance the product catalog. So they are on experimentation mode. I'm not saying that this pharmacy vertical will completely take off in quick commerce, but definitely it's much needed respite because they have to keep expanding to verticals, keep innovating. If quick commerce market is supposed to grow at 2 to 3 times as compared to India's e-commerce market.
In that case, Karan, the first movers, at least in this part of the evolution or perhaps the diversification or growth, whatever you may call it, are these companies, Blinket and Big Basket. They're pioneering. How do you think that their entry is going to impact traditional players in the healthcare, in the pharma industries, your local medical stores? For them, this is a threat, isn't it? Or do you think that this could perhaps spark collaboration?
I don't see collaboration as such because quick commerce is a very different kind of a proposition. They operate by the dark store model. Most of it, they own the inventory as well. They don't, operate in terms of getting the product from Kirana store and then delivering to the household. Quick commerce has disrupted the FMCG space, has disrupted the consumer staple space. Kiranas have felt the pinch of it. Again, because quick commerce is more of a top-up purchase, right? So for a large chunk of the purchases in terms of household, you would visit a modern trade outlet where you get a bulk of purchases. But for impulse buying behavior, you would actually go to the Kiranas. But what quick commerce brings you as a proposition is that the same product, you're getting it at a discount at your doorstep, as compared to going to the Kiranas and purchasing it yourself at the full MRP price. So I think quick commerce is not a purely discounting game. Of course, there are discounts which are there, but it's more of a value proposition game wherein you're able to get the product within 10 minutes. And nonetheless, getting pharmacy also via quick commerce can kind of boost this entire online pharmacy market, right? Because clearly, what is happening right now in terms of online pharmacy is that you end up getting the medicines maybe after slotted basis. So 12 hours, 24 hours, you have got slots which are there. So if at all customers want these medicines on impulsive basis, if at all customers want this on a very high frequency basis, they would kind of adopt to quick commerce platforms. So this will have a negative impact not only on the traditional pharmacy stores, but also on the other e-commerce players, which are selling medicines today.
It's interesting also because, there is this entire gap that we have in urban and rural healthcare services, and whether or not that's going to be an opportunity as well is going to be an interesting piece to track. But thanks very much. We will keep seeing how this defining moment for healthcare and quick commerce industries is going to take shape. The promise of speed is enticing, but the risks demand some amount of caution, and whether quick commerce can balance convenience with care, that is the important piece. Thanks very much, Karan. Always good to get your perspective. But also, let's turn to brand guru Harish Bijur. He's joining us on this discussion. Harish, we were just discussing this with Karan Taurani. We are seeing this rapid shift in healthcare. Companies like Blinket and Big Basket entering this space. How do you view the potential of quick commerce in their effort to transform healthcare delivery? Is this a revolution, or do you think this is merely the evolution of quick commerce?
Well, I think, quick commerce is an evolution point as far as e-commerce is concerned, because e-commerce is so yesterday. It is so 2024. Quick commerce is something that reared its head in 24 and is actually slated for big stuff in 25. The key point simply is this, that the consumer has two currencies in his, her, or their pocket. One is called time, the other is called money. Money is so common. Time is not so common, because time is not something that you can go to a shop and say, I died 20 minutes on this program. Will you top up my time? Nobody can do that. And therefore, since time is the bigger currency, people are looking at Q-commerce being manna from heaven. You think of a product and you'll get it. And I think today you're going to get medicines, tomorrow you're going to get more and more stuff. So we're going to climb the hierarchy of products in Q-commerce.
How real are the risks of perhaps counterfeit or unauthorized drugs entering the supply chain through these quick commerce platforms?
Well, it's who you trust. Because, if you trust a Blinket, or if you trust a Tata brand, you will go to them, because at the end of the day, the aggregator is the brand. So you might be going to a Big Basket fundamentally because you trust Big Basket. And Big Basket, hopefully, is not going to get products which are going to be counterfeit, duplicate, etc. So at the end of the day, it might even appear that, if you want to get the most reliable products which come from the mother brands, you must go only to a Big Basket, or you must go only to a Blinket. So I think the intermediary is the brand, and that brand value these guys are going to bring to the market. I don't think we need to worry about counterfeits of these platforms because of their reputation.
But do you think the infrastructure is ready to handle this kind of fast-paced demand scenario, especially when it comes to logistics and regulatory compliance, which would be stricter in healthcare as opposed to other forms of e-commerce that we've seen, which you say is very 2024?
Yeah. Healthcare has gone through the ringer, N numbers of people have actually entered it. There was Farm Easy at a point of time. There were 23 different portals which entered, as long as 6.5 years ago. None of them have survived really in a significant manner because, the share of medicines is not so large. And if you're doing only medicines, there is a problem. So I think if you're talking of a quick commerce site which does more than medicines, then that's an answer. So a big basket doing medicines, or maybe a Blinket tomorrow doing medicines, it will work because you're holding a whole portfolio of products. As far as infra is concerned, it's easy infra. It's cheaper infra because we're really talking about cloud storage. We're talking about cloud stores. You were talking about dark stores. And these dark stores can be in an apartment in your local area. You won't even know they exist. It can be on the fourth floor of an apartment. It just doesn't matter. And dark stores are giving big run for the money for every physical store. The local kirana is bitten. If you ask me, something like 23% of volumes that go through a typical great Indian kirana in the big cities has been grabbed by Ecommerce. Now, medicines, if medicines come on, the local pharmacy is going to feel the bite of it and the pinch of it. So this is going to happen. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Only thing is, in this case, physical shops die and, dark stores gain. So it is quite likely that at the basement, right on the ground floor, there's a store, a physical pharmacy, which costs about 80,000 rupees to rent. But on the fourth floor of the same building, there could be an apartment which costs about 20,000 to rent. So this entire physical store moves to become the dark store. And I think that's going to be the trend.
But as this sector grows, and very quickly at this, Harish, what steps do you think companies will need to take? They need to balance convenience with a certain amount of responsibility, and that's how brands are built as well. How can they ensure that the promise of speed is not a compromise on quality or safety within the healthcare delivery setup?
Yeah, the important thing is to ensure that you're actually dealing with correct products. You're dealing with products which are reliable. You're dealing with brands. Now, till they're dealing with brands, they will not go wrong. So supposing you're taking a particular product, till a medicine, let's say, it comes from one of the big 8 pharma companies, you won't have too much of a problem. The moment the very same companies start offering generic medicines, that's where it's going to be a problem. So only brands will move through brands. So Big Basket is a brand, reliable brand from the house of Tatas. All branded companies will take their brands to them. It's all going to be okay. The moment generics enter the game, it's going to be war, and it's going to be a blood on the street.
Harish, the onus on regulators, on providers, on consumers to ensure that this transformation that we are seeing, it serves public health and not just boost profits. That's something that would be an ask because it's happening in the healthcare sector. But your insights are always very helpful. Harish, thanks very much for joining us on this discussion tonight.
Thank you.